as Kishore mentioned, we never expected to keep running, so many of the webinars. And today being the 20th, I'm actually very happy that, we have been getting a very positive response to this series of the webinars. So let's get into the world-class manufacturing. I think just to survive today, companies have been forced to figure out their quality issues. And production of a consistent, high-quality product is the bare minimum just to stay in the game. However, to compete on the world stage, much more is needed than simply consistent high quality. It also requires being able to deliver the full amount ordered on time and at the lowest possible cost. That is world-class manufacturing, which includes quality, delivery, cost, all combined to keep a facility competitive in a global marketplace. Okay? So world-class manufacturers are those that demonstrate industry best practices. And world-class manufacturing refers to the practices followed in a manufacturing organization in order to consistently deliver exceptional performance, frequently in excess of the expectations. Today, we will try to understand what makes certain companies world-class manufacturers and what all they do to be one of them. Okay. So the agenda will be, we will define the world-class manufacturing along with characteristics of the world-class organizations. We will also talk about the pillars of world-class manufacturing and discuss the types of operations that make a company as world-class manufacturing. We will also talk about the world-class manufacturing grade, certification, and checklist, and so on. Okay. So some of the places, instead of all the time calling it as a world-class manufacturing, I would be using the acronym called the WCM, which is world-class manufacturing. Okay. So I'm sure you all realize that manufacturing has evolved considerably since the advent of the Industrial Revolution. In current global and competitive age, it is very important for organization to have manufacturing practices which is lean, efficient, cost-effective, and flexible. Okay. World-class manufacturing is a collection of concepts which set standards for production and manufacturing for another organization to follow. Okay. Japanese manufacturing is largely credited with pioneering in concept of the world-class manufacturing, though this formally came in place along with the Fiat and Chrysler. Okay. World-class manufacturing was introduced, as I said, Fiat and Chrysler, essentially into the automobile, electronic, and the steel industry to begin with. World-class manufacturing is a process-driven approach where various techniques and philosophies are used in one combination or other. Okay. So let's look at some of the best practices. World-class manufacturing tends to implement best practices and also invent new practices so as to stay above the rest in the manufacturing sector. The main parameters which determine world-class manufacturing are quality, cost-effective, flexibility, and innovation. And I think these kind of the parameters go for almost every program which is to take you or make you very competitive. So whether it is operational excellence, whether it is manufacturing excellence, whether it is world-class manufacturing, you will always end up focusing on the quality, cost-effective, flexibility, and innovation. Okay. So WCM implements robust control techniques, but there are 5 steps which will make the system very efficient. And these 5 steps are the ones which you are seeing on the screen. The first one is reduction of setup time and in turning off machinery. It is important that the organizations are able to cut back the time in setting up machinery and also tune machinery before the production. The second one is that it is important that production processes are divided into according to its nature with a similar nature combined together. And that's what we call it as a cellular manufacturing. The third area is normally the tendency of a manufacturing organization is to maintain high levels of WIP material. And we all know that the increased WIP leads to more cost and decreased WIP induces more focus on the production and fast movement of goods. So the third area is the reduced WIP material. For us to achieve a higher degree of customization, many changes are made normally to the final product. However, it is important that the mutations conceived for the design stage implement only after the final operation. And that's why we say the fourth one is that postpone product mutation. Don't keep on improving upon the product on a constant basis. Okay. The fifth one is that remove the trivial, many, and focus on the vital few. Okay? It's very important that organization focuses on production of products which are aligned with the forecast demand as to match the customer expectation. Okay? So these are the 5 areas which we take it as the part of the WCM. A little bit of the history. The term world-class manufacturing was introduced in 1984 by the American industry strategists. They had developed a model based on the study of Japanese, German, and American companies that have achieved the performance levels beyond the known standards in their sector. Okay. Fiat developed this concept further in 2005 with the aim of improving the production system by reducing waste, increasing productivity, and improving the working conditions. Following these studies, a model for deployment of problem-solving tools, maintenance improvements, etc. was created. Hajime Yamashina, who is the professor emeritus at the Kyoto University in Japan, he played a very key role in the development of the WCM. A 4-step strategy to achieve the world-class level by assessing the contribution of manufacturing activities to the competitiveness of the organization was developed by these, Fiat, Chrysler, Professor Yamashina, and so on and so forth. Okay. So as Professor describes, world-class manufacturing requires total quality management as the brain, just-in-time as the nervous system, and the total productive maintenance as the muscles. Okay? So in short, you need to develop a sustained ecosystem of excellent quality delivery and maintenance. So that's in a nutshell what the WCM is. Using this, there was a first model which was defined by a person called Schoenberger, and he established the first deployment model which could take you to the world-class level. Major components of this model were just-in-time manufacturing, total quality management, total productive maintenance, employee involvement, and simplicity, a concept which he had brought in. Instead of simplicity, he was calling it simplicity. So this was the Schoenberger model. Okay. Again, as we just said 2 slides before or 3 slides before, WCM is a process-driven approach where implementation usually involves the following philosophies and techniques. So I'll just walk through some of these techniques over here. Number 1, make to order. Second, streamline flow, small lot size, family of parts, doing it right the first time, cellular manufacturing, total preventive maintenance, quick changeovers, zero defect, just in time, and so on and so forth. So these are the basic philosophies and techniques which have gone into building up a world-class manufacturing concept over here. Okay. So again, I'm not going in detail over here because these are again common concepts which are repeatedly being used into the different terminologies and into the different philosophies. Companies that have attained the world class, they also acquire some common characteristics. So every WCM company is quality oriented without saying, without any doubt over here, and also has a flat organization. They're fast, flexible, and competitive in time. They remain customer satisfaction oriented. And these companies acquire the international perspective and constantly innovate in new products or services development. Okay. World-class companies are also pioneer in technology. They create their small units and continuously enhance the skills and knowledge of their employees. Okay. Continuous improvement is their way of life. So these are some of the common characteristics which every WCM company ends up acquiring by default. Okay. These companies adopt the manufacturing organizational principles and focus on the production requirements, representative manufacturing skills, automated manufacturing skills, and the workforce skills. So that's another angle which these companies focus upon. Now let's talk about the 10 pillars of the world-class manufacturing. So to be world-class requires an overall willingness to establish closer connections with everyone, from customers and suppliers to workers, an unwavering commitment to self-analysis and improvement, and also an aggressive approach to technologies that can help turn visionary strategies into the gold medal realities. Okay. So as the WCM model was getting defined, they identified the 10 technical pillars of WCM. So we'll talk about them quickly. Each of this pillar, I'll just walk you through. So the first pillar, aims to reduce the accidents at work, developing a culture of prevention, improve working conditions, and improve the ergonomics. And that's the safety and health. So that's the first pillar. The second pillar is the cost deployment. And this is a priority in the WCM system because that's what helps in identifying the causes of the losses, quantifying the potential benefits to save the money, and putting in place the necessary resources by the management. So in general, it is about having a real control of the losses of the company. It is synergistic work between the financial services and the production. Normally, if you go into any kind of a large organization also, the financial services and the production usually are at the arm's length. But this particular pillar focuses on bringing them together and generating the synergies between the financial services and the production area. Okay. The third pillar is the focused improvement. And this is essentially for reducing the most important losses, eliminating the non-value added, developing the skills and culture of the problem solving. These are the major points of this particular pillar. The fourth one is the autonomous activities. This pillar brings together the activities of autonomous maintenance and improvement of the workplace. The challenge is to improve the performance, increase the staff skills, and involve them into the process. So there's the fourth process over here, or the pillar over here. The fifth one is professional maintenance. The goal of this professional maintenance is to increase the machine efficiency by using the technical default analysis, and it also aims to facilitate cooperation between the operators and maintenance to achieve the zero fault. Okay. Sixth one, quality control is a pillar whose objective is to reduce the non-conformities, increase the skills and culture of employees with respect to quality. Okay. Seventh one is logistics, which is also part of the WCM system. Its goal is to reduce the stock levels and minimize the amount of the material handling from supplier to delivery. Okay. Eighth one, early equipment management, and you might see it more like a TPM pillar as well. So this is about staying ahead of the new technologies and anticipating problems as part of the WCM. This pillar would focus out on respecting the schedules for setting up the new equipment or ensuring a fast and very stable start, or maybe even reducing the cost life cycle of that particular equipment, or maybe even designing the equipment which is easy to maintain and inspect, and so on and so forth. Okay. The ninth pillar is people deployment. And this is presented several times on the other pillars. The increase of skills is a key focus of the WCM. It is about structuring a training system and defining the roles of everyone in the system. So if you remember in the TPM or into any other thing, while there is a constant focus on employee engagement, in WCM, there is a constant key focus on building up the right kind of the skills so that everybody in the organization can contribute effectively on each of the pillars. So that's the ninth one. The 10th one is the environment, and this demands that the companies respect environmental standards and develop a culture of cost reduction and energy losses. So these are the 10 pillars of the world-class manufacturing. As we go about implementing this, what has been done is that with the 10 technical pillars, the 10 management criteria or the management pillars also have been identified to support these technical pillars. So we'll also quickly talk about the 10 bottom, these kind of the pillars. The first management pillar is the management commitment. Commitment of management is an essential element to the success of any of these kind of the approaches where you want to bring in the improvement. Okay? Without this commitment, the project is doomed to failure. The second one is clarity of objectives and KPIs. Each individual must be informed of the company's ambitions to understand their position, their role, and thus achieve their objectives. The third one is route map to the WCM. The deployment plan must be built to make a clear link between the company's objectives and the actions on the ground. This is communicated and monitored by the management. Next one is allocation of highly qualified people to model areas. Each pillar has a leader and a team dedicated to its implementation, and these people oversee creating and sharing know-how. So commitment of the organization is the next one. Management and all the staff must be involved in the process. They must wish to see the problems and solve them. Okay. Just 1 second. I think my video seems to be frozen.
Videos didn't freeze, sir.
Yeah, just 1 second. Okay, all right. Sorry about it. So the competencies of the organization is another pillar, and the training plan has to be deployed for all to build up the competencies. And this should include even the new and temporary staff. Right? It should not be just onto the existing employees only. And the best methods have to be spread horizontally. So whatever are the best practices which have been learned, they have to be, extended over to everyone into the entire organization. Time and budgets. Projects have to be masterfully controlled, and the WCM activity, it has to be controlled by the top management through the various routines and the various structures. Level of details, that's the next management pillar over here. Equipment of control and data recording, they have to be set up to facilitate the resolution of problems and the management of the company. Data has to be reliable and easily recorded. So whatever we do, right to the bottom part of it, we should be collecting the right kind of the data. Detailing has to be appropriate over here. Then similarly, there has to be level of expansion. The WCM system must be deployed through a program where the priority of the action is a fraction of the equipment critically and result of the pillar cost deployment. Okay? The last one is motivation of the operators. So needless to say, staff must be convinced of the process and has to get involved. Autonomy, the will of the teams to solve the problems and to continually improve constitute the basis of measurement of this motivation. Okay, so that is the last management pillar over here. So we have the 10 technical pillars and we have the 10 managerial pillars to support those technical pillars over here. Now, when you're going to deploying these kind of the pillars, there are various ways and the various steps multiple people identify, but there are the common seven steps for these pillar deployments. The first 3 steps are problem identification, detection, and prioritization, and they're the part of the reactive approach. Okay. Then next is analysis of solution and cost estimations, along with the appropriate remedy selection. They are the part of the preventive approach. The last 2 steps, solution implementation as per the objectives, and setting up the preventive action plan using the risk analysis, they're part of the proactive approach. So normally now you have got certain reactive approaches, certain preventive approaches, and certain proactive approaches. So these are the 7 steps in which these pillars are kind of deployed upon. Okay. Just a moment. Yeah. So while we talk about these deployments, there are supposed to be 7 keys to becoming a world-class manufacturer. So let's understand these 7 keys over here. The first one is focus on the competitive quality. And with mostly the constantly changing customer requirements, quality is no more a competitive weapon. Every organization has quality today. So we cannot come out and say that my quality is better than others. You would go in the market and chances are that you will find the 2 products very close to each other in terms of the quality. What separates a world-class organization from others is how better you are from the rest of your competitors. So your quality has to now become competitive. So that's a first key. Second, lean manufacturing is again an overall methodology that seeks to minimize the resources required for production by eliminating the waste that inflates the cost, lead times, and inventory requirements. And it also emphasizes the use of the preventive maintenance, quality improvement programs, pull systems, flexible workforces, and production facilities. So implementing the lean manufacturing is the second key to becoming a WCM. Companies with a lower operational cost structure, they will obviously enjoy the advantage in profitability and the ability to adjust the pricing to meet the competitive pressures if necessary to maintain or gain the market share. So achieving the cost efficiencies becomes the third key to becoming a WCM. Okay. Now, customers, I don't know if you have really encountered it, but customers have now started actually penalizing the suppliers who infringe on their time, whether through the delays, mistakes, or inconveniences. Okay. Soon, that I'll just deliver you soon or it will come by tomorrow is not the answer they want to hear. Rather, they count on the speed of response time as a key value dimension. So reducing time to market is another key for WCM. Similarly, the most successful companies don't just meet the customer expectations, they exceed them and beat the competition by setting the standards at a level that makes it difficult, if not impossible, for others to surpass. So exceeding the customer expectation is the fifth key over here. For manufacturers, the fastest and the easiest way to achieve this goal is through the partnerships with companies that have attained the superior capabilities in particular phases of the process like production. So streamlining the outsourced processes becomes your sixth key. And the last one is having a global perspective. So companies who want to become the world-class manufacturing must follow the international standards into the quality, which could be towards the reducing the lead time, speed time to market, maybe streamlining the outsourcing processes, cutting the operation costs, maybe exceeding the customer expectations or managing the global enterprises, and so on and so forth. So having a global perspective now matters quite a lot. And it's again a very important part of being the WCM. Companies using the world-class manufacturing strategies usually focus on continuously improving the operations, eliminating the waste and creating lean organizations, which often result into the higher productivity. And these companies also focus on setting new standards for speed from order capture through delivery without the heavy dependency on the inventory. Okay? Combining the philosophies of the world-class manufacturing with tools of lean will help business achieve the success and a reduction into the waste. Okay? So these are the 7 keys to the world-class manufacturing over here. Let's look at the characteristics of the world-class manufacturing also, or rather the type of operations which make the world-class manufacturers. Okay. So Professor Yamashina based his initial model with focus on safety, cost deployment, and the basic concepts of the total industrial engineering, total quality management, total productive maintenance, and just-in-time manufacturing with assumptions and results. Let's examine this, all the 4 major contributors to the world-class manufacturing, which is the TIE, that is the total industrial engineering, TQM, total quality management, TPM, total productive maintenance, and JIT, just in time. Okay, so these are the 4 which came in. Okay. So total industrial engineering. This is a concept which was identified by Professor Yamashina as a part of his WCM concept. And this is a system of methods where the performance of labor is maximized by reducing the Muri, Mura, and Muda, and then separating the labor from machinery through the use of the sensor techniques. Okay. So important part is that using the industrial engineering, how do we improve the performance of the labor and how do we separate out the labor from the machinery? So Mura, Muri, Muda, or Muri, Mura, Muda are the 3 important things which we talked even earlier in one of the webinars, how they help you to cut through your losses overall. Okay. Total industrial engineering also focuses on the human efforts engineering and the system efficiency engineering. So performance of the labor, the human efforts engineering, and separation of the labor from machinery, that is the system efficiency engineering. So those are the 2 concepts which it uses over there. I'll just cover this a little more in detail because this is not a so known concept as such. Most of the time people know the TQM, people know the TPM, people know the JIT, but they don't know the type. Okay, so that's why I thought I'll just cover it a little more. So human efforts engineering would cover the principles of motion economy and motion study, work measurements, work sampling, ergonomics, safe work practice design, wage incentives, and job evaluation. So that's a human effort engineering, which comes as part of the TIE. And the system efficiency engineering on the other hand side addresses the method study, methods efficiency, design, process, and operation analysis, value engineering, statistics-based techniques, mathematical optimization, plant layout studies, engineering economics, and so on and so forth. So these are 2 very important parts, which are part of the actually industrial engineering, and having a complete total industrial engineering is very important to ensure that you have got the right kind of the things which will help you to improve the performance of your labor. Okay. So this is one component of the WCM. Let's look at the second component, TQM. So TQM can be summarized, or TQM is again total quality management, and it can be summarized as a management system for a customer-focused organization that involves all employees in continual improvement. It uses the strategy, data, and effective communications to integrate the quality discipline into the culture and activities of the organization. There are 8 principles of total quality management, and different terminologies, people use the different words for that, but the concepts remain same. First, customer focus. Second, total employee involvements. Third, process centered. Fourth, integrated systems, strategic and systematic approach, continuous improvement, fact-based decision making, and communication. Okay, so these are the 8 principles of the TQM. I'm not sure whether you noticed one thing. Fact-based decision making, or the factual approach to decision making, is a very crucial part of the TQM as well. Okay, so that's TQM, which is the second component, or the operation type of operation which make the WCM. The third one we very recently talked about is the total productive maintenance, and TPM is a holistic approach to equipment maintenance that strives to achieve the perfect production. TPM aims for no breakdown, no small stops or slow running, no defects, and no accidents. Okay. Again, TPM also has got 8 pillars, which are autonomous maintenance, plant maintenance, quality maintenance, focused improvement, early equipment management, training and education, safety, health and environment, and TPM in administration. So that's your TPM. Okay. The fourth one, the last one, is just-in-time manufacturing. This is also known as JIT or JIT production or Toyota production system, but it is basically a methodology which is aimed at reducing the times within the production system as well as the response times from the suppliers and to customer. A lot of people take the JIT as only from the supplier to us, but the JIT also extends to the other side of the spectrum, that is supplies from us to our customers as well. So JIT is across the spectrum. Okay. So in manufacturing, speed to market and cost of production can make or break a company. JIT manufacturing is a workflow methodology aimed at reducing the flow times within the production system, as well as response times from the suppliers and to the customers. I'm picking up a concept which we used earlier also into the Kanban. So when we talked about the Kanban, we had talked about a concept called the CONWIP, which is the constant work in progress. Okay. This system is more like the actual idea of using the supermarket shelves, where the Kanban is the actual location on the shop floor. Okay. So when a process removes the product from the previous process, the empty space is the Kanban, and the previous process will work to fill the hole. Okay. So this system works very well for systems in which you can achieve near to one-piece flow and within which variation is limited. However, it also can be used very successfully within those areas in which there is a large amount of variation if combined with a make-to-order type approach to the planning. Okay, so the CONWIP or the Kanban type CONWIP is another factor which works along with the JIT. It's part of the JIT itself, and that also has to be part of your WCM overall. Okay. So these are the 4 things which we talked about. So to build a proper world-class manufacturing, the concepts and methods of the total industrial engineering, total quality management, total productive maintenance, and just-in-time manufacturing must be deployed with focus on productivity, improvement of quality, technical efficiency, and level of services. Okay. These approaches should result always into the zero waste, zero defect, zero breakdowns, and zero stocks. Okay. Involvement of people, creation of value, and customer satisfaction, they always remain the underpinning value of the organization. Okay. So this is the overall world-class manufacturing model which you can actually go for and work upon. So I was asked this particular question by somebody somewhere, that are there any kind of the labels of this world-class manufacturing? Yes, there are. Okay. So Fiat Chrysler Automobiles actually has developed a structured WCM audit mechanism. So in 2005, they were the first one to start recognizing this as a structured approach of implementing WCM into their own thing. 2009, when the Chrysler joined Fiat because of the purchase of the majority of stakes by Fiat, they also went into this, and WCM actually became a turnaround story for the Chrysler using the WCM concepts over here. So what they did is they have also come out with a world-class manufacturing structure, and they have defined the 4 levels of the world-class manufacturing. They rank them as the bronze, silver, gold, and world-class. Okay. The main parameters which determine the world-class manufacturers are quality, cost-effective, flexibility, and innovation. We have talked about it earlier. I'm just repeating that again. World-class manufacturers implement the robust control techniques, but there are 5 steps which will make the system very efficient. The evaluation over here is done on a scale of 1 to 5. Each node meets a specific criteria, and each technical pillar and management criteria is evaluated using this scale. Okay, adding the scores results into a medal. So the first level or the first medal is the bronze medal, which requires a score of 50 to 59 points. At this stage, if you're in a bronze medal, you should be able to demonstrate significant gains and create a know-how on reducing the cost and problems. For an example, you should be able to say that I'm able to reduce my quality problems by 3 times. I'm able to reduce the cost by 10 to 20%, or my lead time has been reduced to 2 times. So that's the first level of the WCM overall. The second level is the silver medal, where your points should be 60 to 69 points minimum. And what it means is that you should have made the significant gains in the quality, cost, and timelines. And whatever the lessons have been learned have been extended to the entire company. A permanent waste reduction approach should be visible into the organization if you are into a silver medal kind of a category. Again, this will mean that your quality problems have been reduced by 7 times. Cost reduction can be to the tune of 20 to 40%, and the lead time should have reduced by at least 3 times. Okay? So that's the second level. The third level is the gold medal, and you require 70 to 84 points over here. This is the highest level as per them on the WCM system, which indicates that your company is leader in terms of quality, cost, and deadlines in your sector of activity. The whole company is wired on the permanent improvement of the performances, and the know-how is capitalized. So whatever I have learned to improve is now institutionalized across the entire company over here. This also means that my quality problems are reduced by 10 times, cost has been reduced by 40 to 60%, or lead time is reduced by up to 4 times. Okay. What level is, the last level is world class with 85 to 100 points. Now, what this will mean is that the company has reached a higher level in our industry, and it has become the benchmarkable. Company has successfully rolled out the entire process across the company, and gains are widely visible. And now the other companies are able to benchmark against us and say that if this company does it to this level, I am at 40, 50, 70, 80% of this particular company. So we become the benchmark. So that's the fourth level, and that's where you are truly a world-class manufacturer. Okay. So there are several tools to measure and record the progress, and WCM, since it influences all the production and logistic processes, there is a complete audit system and measurement with the relevant indicators which has been identified. The main goal of these things will remain that maximize the production system results within the framework of the logistics program and in accordance with the assumed quality goals, strengthen the competitiveness through the continuous evaluation of the production system so as to eliminate the losses in all the processes. The scope of no issues or no losses should include no accidents, no defects, and no failures also. Okay. And the other goal is, third goal is that continuous improvement of skills, competency, and knowledge of employees, which is necessary to solve the problems by means of WCM methods and tools. Okay. So what I have listed out over here on this slide are the 3 major success factors: cost control, quality, and external flexibility. And I have also mentioned the various tools which you can apply and the measurement indicators which can be there. Then the continuation over here, there are 3 more which have been identified, which is the internal flexibility, capacity to change considering the human development angle, and the innovation capacity. These are the other 3 success factors. So 6 success factors: cost control, quality, external flexibility, internal flexibility, capacity to change, and innovation capacity. These are the 6 success factors on which we can measure that whether your company is really able to move forward effectively or not. Okay. Now, this is another angle which has come in. So there obviously cannot be absolute world-class manufacturing standard because each industry is different. Okay, so the WCM opportunities will very enormously differ from one industry to the next. So I cannot, just say that I am the best. I'll have to judge my company's performance against the other companies and do a benchmarking. That's where the world-class manufacturers in a score of 85 to 100 actually become the benchmark for the other industries to go by. So best way to score the checklist, what we have got is we have got a checklist over here for the WCM. And the best way is to score this checklist by the group of senior managers from the key departments, plus the production operators to go through this and identify and then go through the questions. I'll just give you the sample questions as well and agree whether where we are. Okay. Some of the answers may not be, anonymous answers. In that case, you have to do a voting and you have to, decide that what is the most favorable or the most preferred answer in that particular case. What we do is value of the checklist, which we prepare, is as much as the value of the discussions as the answers. Okay. So what is vital over here is that the same group gets together at least annually or as fixed frequency to discuss the progress since the last time. And here we identify where we say that against each of the question, whether we will be grading those questions and say that are we world class, or if we are world class, then we will say W. That is, we have benchmarked it to the comparative industry. We have found it ourselves to be better. Or we could find ourselves that we are very good, but we are not quite world class. Then in that case, it is considered as a country class as X. Then there is a Y, which is a city class, which says that I'm not as good as, I'm very good, but I'm not quite good as a world class. However, I'm better than many people around me. So that's why I call myself as a city class. And when I do the benchmark and I find myself poor compared to everybody else, then we call it as a Z, which is the village class. So they have given, the 4 very nice names: world class, country class, city class, and the village class. That's how you grade yourself. And, you try to find out that where you are. Okay. So I'll share some of the sample questions. These are some of the sample questions which can be used to ascertain your class over here. The first question which you have got is on the customer service and it requires a percentage, but rest of the questions require a graded answer, right? As I have said earlier, these are the subjective questions and they keep improving as your company's status also changes. So I'm not going to go through these questions. I'm just, flipping you through on these kind of the questions over here. So I'll just wait for a few seconds so you can have a look into it. But these are the very simple questions focusing back upon the same thing: quality, productivity, maintenance, just in time, industrial engineering practices, foolproofing, all those kind of the similar things, over here. Okay. So I'm sure that one of the questions which will obviously come in is who are the WCM companies? Okay. And are the WCM companies only the automobile or the engineering companies? Okay. So let me just go back a little while and talk about it. This discipline of the world-class manufacturing actually appeared first time in, somewhere around mid-80s, 1984 to be very specific. Okay. And this was counted as a collection of the best practices. And these best practices actually came, most of them, 95% of them came from the Toyota production system. Toyota was pioneer into all these things and they had already identified. Now, much later, probably in 2005, that's where, the WCM assumed a higher role into the global community. And that is the time the Fiat Group Automobile adopted this entire WCM program to create a new way to be competitive in manufacturing. So obviously what happened is that since the Fiat company group created it for themselves, they obviously had majority of the automobile companies or the component of the auto parts manufacturers or the steel companies as part of this entire consortium who went through the WCM. But over a period of time, these kind of the practices were found to be useful even for the other industry. And companies as varied as the Royal Mail, which is a mail services, Ariston, which is the manufacturer of the white goods, or the Unilever, which is a consumer goods company we all know as the Hindustan Unilever over here, or Atlas Copco, which is the industrial tools manufacturing, or even strangely a food company called Barilla, which is pasta manufacturer, and even the different transportation industries, they all started using the WCM concept and became WCM in their own area. Now you have got the thousands of the WCM projects which are going around the world, and many Indian companies also have gone into the WCM stage over here. Journey to them always has been passed through the TPM, TQM, JIT, and then also have the complete industrial engineering established into it, follow those 10 pillars of the world-class manufacturing supported with those managerial 10 pillars over here. So this is about the bit about the WCM companies over here. So friends, WCM is essentially a program of enterprises renewal. You renew your entire enterprise based upon the standard of the continuous improvement, both in the logistics and in production. Its foundation rests upon the achieved performance and methods followed by the leading global companies. Okay? You always go by the benchmarks set up by the others, and you try to breach those benchmarks and go beyond that as well. While gathering their experiences for the many years, these enterprises have created definitions of the world-class manufacturing, referring them to the following concepts, which we talked about earlier: total quality control, total productive maintenance, and total industrial engineering, along with the just-in-time manufacturing. Okay. The WCM detects and eliminates losses and the resulting costs. Waste is always analyzed, evaluated, and assigned to the relevant processes. The result of a conducted analysis points to the way of interventions. And in order to achieve an appropriate world-class level, WCM influences all the production and logistic processes, supporting them with an audit system and measuring them with the relevant indicators. We talked about that WCM has got the 10 technical pillars and equal number of the managerial pillars. WCM is graded as bronze, silver, and gold levels, and the topmost is the world class with a score of 85 plus. WCM sets the benchmarks for others to follow in technology, processes, quality, delivery, customer services, and innovation. Okay. So that's about the world-class manufacturing today. Thank you everyone for your participation. We can always, Skilltelligent and Auro University, we can always help you to conduct the detailed training at your location on the various pillars of world-class manufacturing, help you understand what is the total industrial engineering, what is the TQM, TPM, JIT, and so on and so forth, and the variety of the lean tools and the lean methodologies which go into it. And we can also conduct the in-depth training for you onto any of these kind of the concepts, which can be used to ensure the zero waste, zero defect, zero breakdown, and zero stocks, the underpinning objectives of the world-class manufacturing. Okay. As I think in the last time also we talked about, we will be soon launching few short-term certification courses covering the lean production supervisor, certified maintenance professional, maybe even certified lean practitioner, and so on and so forth. So we'll be soon making up the formal announcements about the launching dates and so on and so forth. In case you want to go through these videos, which we have conducted today, the 20th session, so 19 sessions so far, you can search for the Skilltelligent channel on the YouTube, where all these sessions have been recorded and kept over there. And we will always love your feedback. We will always love to know which are the topics which can be taken up, which can be useful to you. So thank you once again. And Kishore, if we have any questions, we can take them up right now.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for the presentation. We have few questions coming in. Let us check one by one. The first one, is manufacturing excellence or operational excellence a path to world-class manufacturing?
Let me repeat. Is manufacturing excellence or operational excellence a path to world-class manufacturing, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, in general sense, yes, very much. In fact, both manufacturing and operational excellence help you to improve your cost, your efficiencies, quality, services, and so on and so forth. Okay. And in fact, if you would have seen this entire model also, so Operational excellence also is a concept where you're talking about the strategy deployment, you're talking about process excellence, high performance team,